that'll make you think, that will be a little bit of a ride, but more importantly, it's a reflection of what it's like to be in InfoSec the last 3 to 5 years. So there's going to be a lot of words thrown around, a lot of boos and moos about things like APT. So we're going to make a drinking game about that. If you hear the phrase APT, yes, you will have to take a drink. Cyber is the word of the topic, okay? Oh. New thing. So, cyber, you're going to see a lot of cyber. Now, this is a beta talk. I have never given this talk, so there may be some... Who here is a grammar Nazi? Oh, great. Now I got a couple. Julie's not here. Yeah, Julie's not here, right? Sound good? Okay. So, we've all been drafted in the cyber militia, right? Who is this guy? I am literally some joker from Alaska who works for a small company, actually a pretty medium-sized company, a Fortune 11. It just got ranked up to 11. That monitors threats and does intelligence and IR and all sorts of fun stuff for a lot of the state websites. I am a geek. I've been a geek ever since I was back home. And, you know, I love fishing. I used to do a lot of fishing. I used to be a professional fisherman. I have had a mohawk before. For those of you who got to see that at DEF CON 1 year, that was me. It was sweet. I've never been so scorned on a plane ride before. The people next to me wouldn't even take my photograph. They were really freaked out. I am married to a very beautiful wife who supports me in everything I do, and this is my life right now. 4 kids, that's why I'm here. So,
6 eyes.
What's that?
6 eyes.
I know, isn't that crazy? So, this is a personal talk, has nothing to do with my employers. Okay, don't tell them I'm talking to you. So, as you're reading this, I want everyone to put on their tinfoil hats. This is part of the swag. So if someone can help me hand out lots of tinfoil, I want you guys to make tinfoil hats. If someone would please make me one, it would be great. I'd like to wear everything. But I love this because I work with somebody who literally, yeah. This was what inspired me, some of the stuff in this talk, okay? So, if you ever see this, I don't know what you're supposed to take to the grocery store, but you're going to get a 50% discount. So, did we get the boxes out? Okay, make sure you hand them out. So, I am not a historian. I'm not your lawyer. I'm definitely not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not your legal counsel, the lawyer for SecKC is over here, right? I am not your financial planner. I am not a FUD-monger, okay? Now, believe it or not, this is FUD right here. This little thing, that's for the ladies that want to stand up and pee. That's a female urinary device. I kind of laughed at that.
Wait, you got any more pics of that?
I scrubbed him out, hoping, I thought Julie would be here, so I kind of just threw that in for her. But I did like this because that dog wanted some FUD bacon. Who here loves bacon? Yeah? We got some hands up. Guess what I have?
Oh, bacon! Bacon!
I have FUD bacon. So that's the only mongering I will do with FUD, is for the bacon. So, we may end up giving this out tonight. Somebody raise their hand in the back. Got some FUD bacon?
How long has it been sitting out?
It's ice cold because I got some cold packs. I planned ahead. Okay? So, let me get repacked up here. Alright, but no, seriously, we need to make sure that we fight the FUD. And any of you who've been to a conference, FUD is out there. Okay? So this talk will make fun with FUD. Oh, sweet. Tell me it works. Does it work? It works. Alright, let's take a picture. So, and I'm definitely not your hero, okay? Not your hero. So, many of us have grown up in the digital world. Some of us way prior, okay? Worked in analog a long time. But the funny thing was, the word cyber was born during many of our lifetimes. And the word cyber was first a big deal from some books that dealt with cyberpunk, okay? But it really took notice in 1991 because of AOL and sex. Okay?
AOL?
Leave it to sex to drive everything.
Got any pics of that?
Back in the day,
AOL?
back in the day, you would get on some forum or chat box and you'd say, would you like to cyber? And that was a term for, okay, so cyber. The funny thing is, it's kind of coined off from there and gone crazy. So, around 2000, this sweet article came out, and my favorite is this guy right here, Arnold Johansson, and he consulted on this wonderful article about how you could send a specially crafted email that would turn your computer into a bomb. And I put this in because somebody's got to get a picture of Corey with all this tinfoil. I was trying to get it in the box. So, it's articles like this that people actually believed. I mean, I found a whole forum where people were debating this and arguing with each other about how this would happen, and they've seen it. And I just started laughing, so I kind of, fell off the train on that one. But the bigger problem we have is people believe that because the internet was created as ARPA, right? And then DARPA. And it was for trusted people. Much same problem with Eventbrite, and that they're trusting. So it's all built on security. You're supposed to trust who you're sharing information with. This thing happened where Windows NT came out, everybody starts putting commercial websites out there, and voila, we all have jobs. Okay? Think about it. We all have jobs because of Windows NT. Okay? So, General Hayden said, it's like putting a padlock from your kitchen to your dining room. Okay? You're trying to basically lock something up that wasn't meant to be locked up. So, the current cyber threats. By the way, APT. Okay. Current cyber threats, hacktivists. They are the scariest. We may not think that, but over time, they're getting more crafty. They're causing more crap. Most of us are dealing with hacktivists on a daily basis. Okay? The problem is, they're not just the kids anymore who want to sit in the thing. They're people in other nations, and I'll get into that, okay? So, as you can read, smarter, more extreme, you got anonymous jihadists, some of you in here, okay? But the best part about this is, what if I told you could monitor and correlate cyber threats, and that should be another talk? Okay? I don't know, I could give it, somebody could give it. I'm going to plug talks on this as well. Alright? So, the other ones are nation-state sponsored. We know that, well shoot, APT, everybody makes a joke about, there we go, Asia. AA stands for Asia, okay? Alright?
Asian persistent threat.
There it is, okay? So, Unit 63198, we all probably read that report. Dropped the bomb, really ticked some people off in the Beltway because they were tracking them, exposed them, alright? The Syrian Electronic Army, they've been in the news lately. People speculate, are the Iranians using them? Is that a retaliation for Stuxnet, trying to go after financials? Are they Russian? Are they mercenaries? Are they Syrian? There's some people in the room that probably know who they are, okay? The Al-Qaeda Electronic Army, Turkish Ajan, we'll go into more. But what about our own NSA? Because seriously, we don't have anything to worry about, right? There's nothing to worry about with our country. I mean, I'm wearing this shirt because I'm proud that one day my profile will be leaked and you will all know the kind of fishing porn I love. Okay? So, alright, can we compete with the APT? Can we? Mathletes. I have a slide there that talks about, can we really compete with this? I mean, they got their own dedicated building.
You talking about apartments?
They were basically in an apartment. The apartment resistant threats. That makes sick. Okay? But how many of these buildings are spread across China? Seriously, something to think about. Clearly, there's a billion people. There's got to be more of these, right? I mean, if you go back to the 63198, you think they did that chronologically, like in order? Is there that many? I mean, how many apartments are there? Okay? So, can we compete with the nation states? Well, the other problem we have are cyber criminals. So literally, I was making that slide and this one, and I was starting to put in some names of some cyber criminals that I tracked through and different things are going on. And that's when we machine died. And I was like, what? So I got back in it, and it kept dying and dying. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm going. Like, literally my hair's standing right now. I was freaking out. It was like midnight. I was already tired. So I mean, really, the whole point is I'm like, okay, fine, I put in Russians, Ukrainians, Russians, and wait, did I tell you about the Russian mafia? Do you know what happens to Brian Krebs and the thing he has? Okay, so, you can Google anyone else you want, and you can be as paranoid as I am, and I'm not even really exposing these people, okay? So, this is a beautiful image, time for APT, okay, of a bot herder and his box to a 24-hour life cycle. I just thought it was pretty. It was a good time to put in for a drink. Okay, so we are in a frontier, and I'm gonna kick this into a little bit of history here pretty soon. If you think about it, it's a free flow of information. Okay, people can hack outside of the United States without repercussion. In fact, some of them are heroes. They think they've done this great thing because they defaced a website or uploaded an x.txt, which really says something, and they, oh, look, we defaced it. No, you didn't. You just have a URL where you're able to upload it. We all know that. We see it. We have to deal with it. Yeah, trend, right? Seriously. The elephant is in the room, and he's sitting right there. Don't look at his mask. It is terrible. Okay. So, it's relatively easy to be a script kiddie. It is relatively easy to be a hero in a country that hates the United States. Think about it. They're never going to prosecute you. Alright, the internet is also wide open, but the problem is there was a WCIT summit in Dubai, and this is a serious deal. This is not the joking part of it. This happened last December. The UN tried to make a coup on the internet. Basically come in and say, we want to control what's going on. We want to basically turn it into China, turn it into the UK, Australia, everything's monitored, proxy, let's go ahead and tax it, let's go ahead and things. Luckily, we were able to stand up and say, no. But here's the key. The US is the digital empire. Okay, so remember these words, frontier and empire. Okay? And does anybody play a video game with John Marston? Yeah, he's riding Applejack, so there you go. Alright, so, cyber war, that's not a drinking game for that because there's a lot of cyber. Alright, the problem we have as InfoSec professionals is preparing our people for the inevitable cyber war, right? Okay? Is it hype? Do we really need to worry? This quote may have some relevance. Not reacting to the threat of cyber warfare is tantamount to raising the white flag. I know we're sick of hearing about it, but is it something we should really worry about? We think war and we think certain terms, but a lot of us know it's kind of different in the cyber world. Sex world, thank you. I was about to say that. In the sex world.
Any pics of that?
Okay, so this is another serious part of my talk. The Wake Up white paper came, I gotta grab my notes, from General Habiger. Somebody know his name? How do you pronounce that? Any scholars in this? Anyway, he's a retired U.S. Air Force, and he basically talked about some of these points. Some of the key ones are failure to proactively address these threats risks a digital Pearl Harbor or 9/11. Okay? They've crossed the critical line. We have seen tons of IP disappear from our country. That's a huge thing that really we don't do something about. It's scary. The intellectual property that leaves is going to cost us, because really that's the only thing we have around the world. We have more technology, usually the smarter people, but right now you have nation states that are taking that and building upon it. So all the R&D we spend in it, all the stuff we do, boom, it's gone. Okay? Another point here, the private sector must look beyond the balance sheet and focus on our national interest. And if need be, the government must force this change. Now, I don't know if I agree with the last part, but that's the problem we have, okay? And then of course we all deal with this on a daily basis, educating the American people / users about the importance of cybersecurity and drive behavioral change. So, APT. Okay. All right, I have to have the obligatory Sun Tzu, the art of war, right? What security talk does not have that, especially at a major conference? And everybody says it'll happen. There's a book by O'Reilly, so it means it's valid. I mean, if O'Reilly's writing about it, you know it's the real thing. So, the event that will change everything. Let's just think about what event is going to change everything, okay? Why hasn't that happened? We've been told about it for 3 to 5 years. Maybe it has. Maybe there was something, but it wasn't what we knew. Maybe it's yet to come. Okay? That's when the hacktivists can be scary. The bigger thing for me is our SCADA systems are wide open. We all know that. We've heard about it. Okay? And our financial market. Where do you hit us? Where do you kick us in the balls? Stock market, right? Where are we going to take the biggest hit? So, our current government cyber status is literally the ostrich. Okay? 3 years ago, that report came out. They've been begging and pleading and talking about how we need more people. They've been recruiting. When I went to SchmookCon a couple years ago, they had so many people there handing out tests, trying to recruit people, trying to get in. The last 2 years of any major conference, you've seen people recruiting. 2 years ago at DEFCON, it was open. Hey, I'm a Fed. You want to come work for us? I mean, this year wasn't really quite as opening, but one of you guys sold their soul, right? Okay? But we're not trained. We're literally, we don't have that apartment complex. They're not cracking the whip, okay? The bigger problem we have is we don't attack back. So many lawyers, so many things going on. We don't have, I think this year they finally came out with they finally came out with the executive order talking about possibly doing stuff like that, but we're slow to act on this stuff. Our government always overreacts to hacks and threats. That nuclear little bomb thing that explains the big event, it's probably going to take something like that. And there will be no FEMA. If there's a major SCADA event in February on the East Coast, knocks out a third of the power grid for a long time, you blow up a few generators, it's not like you can go pick up another generator from Depot for those. Okay, what's going to happen? So something to think about. Alright, APT moment. These are the APT guards guarding against the Asian persistent threat, or whatever you want to call it, the apartment. I'm trying to call it. So, like I was saying, there is no digital cavalry, okay? There are several high-ranking officers and officials that have talked about lack of response in the cyber realm. This is called foreshadowing. The Wayback Machine, okay? The frontier. At one point, the Americas, we all know about the colonies. Everybody has graduated from high school, so let me remind you what you were supposed to have learned. The French and Indian War, not our revolution. The French and Indian War, there was a gentleman, very famous. I think he invented electricity, right? Who it was? Benjamin Franklin? I think his initials were APT. Okay, he came up with this cartoon called Join or Die. It was in his newspaper. And the whole point was, he said, we need to join up against the French and Indians. Because the threat, we have a common threat. We need to unite with the crown. Okay? So they wanted to protect the way of life. Well, here's the funny thing about it. Clearly, we know that Benjamin Franklin was drinking the Kool-Aid. Because the French and the Indians were not the real problem. Okay? So what happened? What do we know about that? 17? He's so thirsty, right?
Hot and thirsty.
He's hot. He wants to meet.
Yeah.
The Kool-Aid guy. I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah.
So, the whole point was... So, a very intelligent inventor of the day led a unification against the common threat. That gave us this, some other things. They actually took his original post, made it into that. It gave us this gentleman. Anybody know who this is? Anyone? George Washington.
No, it is. It's Sean Slatter. I couldn't see his teeth.
Okay, so we had our great American leader from that, Yankee Doodle. Okay, Yankee Doodle Dandy. Who can sing? I have swag for it if you can. Gave us this. Anyone? Anyone?
Come and take it.
Come and take it, which now says, come back with more. Okay? So, the French and Indian War, a frontier battle against a common enemy, led to the American Revolution, a unification against the empire at the time, and gave us the leaders we have. So, what all this circles about is cyber guards. Okay? Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution, Section 8, armies and militias. The government can call up private people, businesses to help out. Okay? There is also a Senate bill that has been brought up once or twice, saying there should be cyber guards in every state. Yeah, well, that's FBI, right? But a lot of guards, okay? We, those of us in this room, maybe even this group, could be a militia. We're the cyber warriors of the next battle, okay? Welcome to the drift. We've all been drafted. We're actually in the middle of this battle. The official part of it may come later with one of those congressional laws. But we are basically on the front lines, or we'll be part of the front lines for some of the bigger battles that happen. The cool thing with that is, we'll be privateers. Anyone know what a privateer is from the old days? Okay? Now, here's the funny thing. What tools will we use? Oh, it's another talk. Another idea for a talk, okay? So, militias. Yeah, we can 5 minutes long. Militia generally refers to any army or other fighting force that is composed of non-professional fighters. Are we non-professionals?
Yes.
Kind of, right? It's not our day job. Maybe it is. Okay? Citizens of a nation or subjects of a state or government that can be called upon to enter a combat situation. Okay? We're not full-time soldiers. So, a privateer. We didn't have a navy back in the day, and if we did, it sucked. So what did they do? The New England area had some of the best ships in the world. Whaling was kind of our oil at the time. Phenomenal ships. We said, hey, guess what? You guys get to be pirates, Camaros, privateers. The cool part was, I don't think we'll get to do this now. They got to share in the bounty. So when they took over a ship, they got to split up whatever they got. Can you imagine that? Okay, so privateers. So, current cyber militias and privateers. We know that nation states are basically drafting their brightest. They're growing these guys up, they're filling them full of Mountain Dew, shipping it in from America, right? Military, they're doing it. They're basically getting mercenaries. Anybody can hack. The Russians are notorious for this. Hey, you guys can hack all you want as long as it goes out. They'll come in, right? We saw the Georgia conflict back then. They didn't have that in their military. They just tasked these guys to do it, okay? Criminal elements, hackers for hire, script kiddies. Very bored, intelligent activists, okay? So, state-sponsored militias that we know of that I quickly want to give here also could be a talk dealing with APT. It's more jinxing. So, Russia has a group called Nashi. Look it up. I won't get into it. That's a serious group that is going to be a threat for years to come. A lot of the Eastern Bloc countries, I could probably do 50 slides just on them. Iran has the Basij. That pretty much is the, what's the word I'm looking for? The spring of where a lot of the latest hacks are coming from for the jihadists, okay? China has an estimated 4 million in their cyber militia. So how many buildings would that be? Okay? Props to my source on that. North Korea, Palestine, all those jokers, okay? Is Anonymous a militia?
Yes.
Are they a militia?
Sure.
They could be considered a militia, but here's the funny thing about that, okay? You have these other groups rising up based upon Anonymous. They kind of took that moniker from a few years back and said, look at us. We're the Turkish Anonymous. Turkish Ajan. Oh yeah, look at these. Same format. How cool is that? We're rock stars in our country, okay? The Indonesian hacking team, man, those guys really gave me a lot of problems this year and last. The Syrian Electronic Army. Okay? Another one that is a real problem this year. Al-Qaeda. They basically asked the Syrians to do most of it, but they like to put their name out there. The Tunisian cyber army, they all use cyber jihad in the name of Anonymous to go do what they did. But here's the funny thing. You have an op Islam from other anonymous groups that are now making this complete circle of, no, oh no you don't. Oh no, you don't. So is that part of the group? Are some of those cyber militias that I've been talking about part of the Stop Islam? Something to think about. Something to think about. All right, so let's get into armed cyber militias. Well, remember Cult of the Dead Cow? Are they the original militia?
That's good.
I mean, think about it. I was trying to figure out who I would call the original militia. Okay? Chaos Computer Club. Low. Remember those days when you could go to the website? Yeah. I miss that logo, really. Another talk, right? We can talk about all these guys, what they do. Alright. Talk APT. Okay, so in the cyber war, let's just say we win. We're going to kind of fast forward because, hey, we are Americans. We win everything.
America!
America. Be America. I should have put that one up there. So, to make it make sense, we win. But really, what if we won? So let's replay what happened. Back when we won the original Revolutionary War, they had to put in a Second Amendment. Okay? Why did they put in the Second Amendment? Because the militias are what won the war. So, the well-regulated militia was necessary for the security of the state. Do I really need a slide about this?
Yes.
Gun control. Whether you're against it or for it, think of it as an InfoSec professional. I love this. Now, this is my favorite. Years down the road, when we win this, when other things happen and all the crap hits the fan, what are they going to start to control? We're already seeing this. There is hardware control across the board, okay? Video game, they want to make it legal for your device. That was kind of knocked down a little bit, okay? Somebody's clapping, what's a clap? Yeah, okay? We're stopped at the borders. They can confiscate your device just because. Within 100 miles of the US border. In the name of terror and security. I mean, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist here. I'm not trying to say we rise up against our government, but these are the things that I want to end with another slide that will talk about that, okay? We all know that private encryption, I mean, that almost got people thrown in jail. There's a huge problem with that, okay? So, modern militias. Is it going to be camo or caffeine? Okay? Guns or computers, bullets or software, let's hope it's not all of that. Both of those things. Okay? I did find it pretty exciting that there was a camo caffeine shot. Covers it, right? So, I am now on a watch list for sure because I researched militias. I'm pretty sure. If I wasn't on already, I'm on now because of this stuff.
Well, hold on. You have your hat on.
Oh, I was wearing a tinfoil hat at the time, so historical comparisons to back in those frontier days to now, pretty self-explanatory. What are the equal things with this, okay? People comparisons. I really wanted to go more with this, but I tried. Bruce Schneider, is he not our Franklin, right? Is he not the intelligent guy? Oh, dang it! Beta talk.
That damn tin
So, Bruce, we all know, great talk. I mean, the guy, to me, he's our Franklin. That's what I picked. But
Trent Lowe and Bruce.
no, wait.
That's a great point.
With some blowfish?
That's why I put it in. So, the Jester. How many here follow the Jester? Excuse me, I'm calling puberty again.
My first time at puberty.
So, I'm gonna joke that. The Jester, if you don't follow him, hilarious. I personally think the guy's part of our nation state. It's actually a group of people, but that's my theory. What he does, I don't think it's an individual. And the way he gets away with it, I think that's kind of our retaliation for GM. But, don't quote me on that. I got a tinfoil hat on, okay? Moxie is our boon. I mean, seriously, watch this. Oh, yes. Okay? Moxie Marlins fight. He is our frontiersman. He runs from the law. He's going to end up at the Alamo, our digital Alamo. You know it, right? And then Trent Lowe, I don't know who the heck that's going to be. I honestly ran out of time for Trent Lowe.
Who's the Kim Kardashian of that?
The Kim Kardashian that group. I had a Bradley Manning up there. I wasn't quite sure. Anyway, so when that info, will all non-compliant hackers be rounded up, much like what happened to some people in Pearl Harbor? Okay? Is there going to be a McCarthyism against intelligent InfoSec people? Are you going to have to swear an allegiance? We already know that the internet is going to be controlled at some point. Are we going to develop one that will allow us to have the freedom? Because hacking is a way of life. Okay? Our hardware is going to be neutered. I'll talk about that further. And there's already talk that you're going to need a digital visa or passport or some other kind of biometric access to do what you want to do. So, here's the forecast. Partial freedom. We already have seen it with the UK, Australia, Japan. All these places still have gun control the same way, very strict, very strong. Okay? They don't want the people to rise up. We're going to see this happen even in the United States unless we do something about it. Okay? We do not want to turn into China. SOPA, CISPA, you've seen those things. Now, these two right here, because of the Snowden leaks, may never see the light of day, but they're going to try it through other means. Today, just today, TPP was discussed. It was leaked to WikiLeaks, and you should go to tppinfo.org to see what they're trying to do through the back door. Okay? Through some of the nations that are agreeing upon trade. It's kind of like a NAFTA for our internet, right? And of course, we're going to have some kind of proxy system. And if we violate it, is it going to be a problem? We're going to know about it? Are people like CenturyLink going to turn us in? Probably. So, another talk here. I think this should be a good talk. APT and TPP.
Yeah, you know me.
It's good crowd tonight. I seriously have shirts. I should be throwing these out.
That deserves a shirt.
Yeah, who said that? You know me. Sure. There you go. I doubt it'll fit you, but enjoy. So, who is the cyber weapon? This is the same with the gun control argument, right? Is it your tools like SET? Is it your Tor? Is it Metasploit? Is it the DOS tools? Okay? And how are they going to regulate or neuter everything that we're doing here? Are we going to have some guy sitting in on our meetings that's going to come and say, no, we can't talk about that? Are we going to be allowed to meet? Okay? And what are the hacking tools? Can we equate them to things like ammo, a rifle, and a pistol? So, this is a true story from another source. I don't know if you guys saw this. A guy was basically lost his Fourth Amendment rights. This was in October of this year. Because on his website, he claimed he was a hacker. Okay? Let me go through my notes on this. The court found it significant that the defendants are self-described hackers who say, we like hacking things and we don't want to stop. So basically...
This was the guy that attacked, that he wrote
some software.
He wrote some software that open sourced it.
Yeah, and then they think he open sourced it, but basically they went ahead and just seized it anyway. Didn't even tell him about it because they said his capability equals intent. Because he's capable of it, that means intent. Just because on his website he claimed to be a hacker and he likes to hack. And we know the real definition of that. But the idiots we deal with on a day-to-day basis in our government do not. They see it as a bad word. Okay? So, basically, it's going to be a hacker witch hunt, and this is kind of a precursor to things like that, because if you look at the next slide, this is the actual court stuff. The court finds it significant that defendants are self-described hackers who say, we like hacking things and we don't want to stop. Now, the underlying portion here, the tipping point for the court comes from evidence that the defendants, in their own words, are hackers. By labeling themselves this way, they have essentially announced that they have the necessary computer skills and intent to simultaneously release the code publicly and conceal their role in the app. Just because that was on a website. No other proof or evidence that they're basically saying, we're going to go get this because we think it happened, and he has no Fourth Amendment right on. And further in the document, which I didn't put up, they basically said, you know what, he has the ability to scrub it, so we couldn't do that. If we told him we were going to do that, he would delete the hard drive. So it was a preemptive hit by the Idaho, it was in Idaho, by the judge in Idaho.
SCADA control software.
it was some SCADA control software, so that it was all done in the name of terrorism. Basically, they came in and said, you know, that he could release this and terrorists could get a hold of it and run our system. So instead of really looking at the real problem or asking the guy, they're doing it this way. Now, there may be more to the story, but I think it's a legitimate concern. It's something to think about. It's futuristic talk, right? By the way, don't believe anything I've said tonight. It's a total trap, right? Tinfoil hat on, right? So, is there going to be, much like the Second Amendment, a lead amendment saying, will it be illegal to have hacking tools? Are we going to be allowed to use those things to help in the cyber war? That may be pure science fiction, cyberpunk stuff, theoretics, but it's something to think about. Will a hacker sticker be seen as the same as an NRA sticker? Okay? You drive around and see the crazy AK-47s or M16 stickers, you know, the same stuff in the NRA. Are we going to have to hide that? We don't want to be known as that, or are we going to be proud to show that? I'm kind of mad because my laptop has all those stickers on it. It's not here tonight, but that's one of the things. Okay? Will you be classified as a weapon? Seriously, think about it. Okay? How highly regulated will it be? Okay? Is this avoidable? Are you already on a watch list? Is there a way to find out? Okay? Do you care if you're on a watch list? We go back to the crazy girlfriend. You got nothing to hide, right? You're not doing anything wrong. But you have the ability. Clearly, you're evil because of that. Are your ideas a threat to national security? And when is it tyranny? Okay? When is it tyranny? Future talk. Possible. Maybe not for here, maybe for another place. So, we deserve the future we shape. Okay? Is an association the answer? Yeah, well, this is... well, I'm going to get it quickly. Is an association the answer? Okay? Many of us have our certs, we belong to some organization, things like that. Okay? Is there another one we need? Do we need the NISPA, the National Information Security Professional Association? Something that stands more for our rights, for protecting things. I don't know. These are the ideas that I was trying to come up with my talk. Okay? But seriously, this whole talk is bogus about electricity. If you think about it. Real war that's going to wipe electricity. We're going to be worthless anyway. That's what we do. Run some generators. But I want to end with a quote. The exact level of tyranny you're going to live under is the level of tyranny you put up with. Okay? So thank you. That's my talk. Any ideas, questions, please bring them along. So the key here that I liked about this is, what are arms? And I was trying to get into a philosophical talk when I first created this. Is, could we be considered, or our tools be considered, modern arms?
Information. There already are.
Information in Germany, there's a lot of places, right? There's those who say the network connections themselves, the networks are part of the weapons and the arms. So could we end around it and say we have the protection of the Second Amendment based on that? But I doubt it. I don't know if a lawyer would argue that. But really, that was kind of what spurred my initial thought about, I'd like to talk about this and see. Any questions, Nick? Yeah.
I got more of a comment, maybe a question too.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of emphasis on, say, foreign countries. We'll just say China as an example,
Right.
pointing out. But exactly. So I know that there's a lot of concern around, well, there's always a possibility that populations will shut down our electrical and our financial and all that. But maybe something to ponder, something to think about, is that because we're becoming such a global economy anymore, if they do that, isn't that also killing themselves to a degree?
Excellent point. And those are the things why many theorize that it hasn't happened yet. Think about it. Cyber criminals don't want to shut it down, don't want to go nuclear on us because they're a parasite. They live off of it. China's not going to do anything to us until they completely own us because they need us to buy their stuff. But the real point of the talk here is, what are all these little tiny things, right? You don't eat an elephant with one big bite. You nibble at it. We see this nibbling in the last 5 years of all these little things that happen. Okay? The RSA hack took all the IP. What are they doing about it? All the intellectual hacks that are happening, the hacktivist stuff. They're trying to put in laws and trying to put in things to restrict stuff in such a way Is the internet going to be the same? Is it inevitable that it will never be the same? Or are we going to have to just live with that? But your point is very valid. Yeah, we're talking about these foreign sources and what's going to happen. Really, the bigger concern we have is they're stealing what we have. America doesn't produce anything anymore. We don't have factories, really. We have intellect. We have amazing engineers. We have a work ethic that's like none other. I mean, the Germans, they're just so rigid. They do make great stuff, but their flexibility isn't there, so sometimes that hinders it. But for us, I'm very proud to be American. But it's tough to see what I see working and protecting government websites. Sometimes the attitude of those people who are in charge of these government websites towards us trying to secure them. Because that's our data. Personally, my family's personal data was breached because of lack of security in one of the states that we lived in. So I wanted to really give a talk that would get you guys thinking about some of the fun, some of the things, the APT, the sales. I think one of the quotes I bypassed was, cyber war and APT are the code words for a blank check, right? Shiny new objects, buy shiny new objects, buy shiny new objects. That's all you hear. It's like the peanuts, right? It's wah wah, wah 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 wah, cyber war, wah wah wah, APT, give me your check, okay? I've been to so many conferences the last few years, it's just crazy, some of the stuff. Any questions, any other comments? None? Guess I'm gonna go home. Yeah, I have shirts for those who want. Seriously, if somebody wants some fud bacon, it's all yours. I couldn't believe I tracked it down. I said, holy crap, they have fud bacon. All right, well, if you guys have any questions, I'm Wayne Crowder, Whack Bass, at Whack Bass. You can follow me, thank you.